welcome to the 99th episode of Recluse Horror. This at least was a daily horror podcast.
Sorry. We're starting off good.
Well, I guess you probably figured this out, but with me again today is Sam.
What's up?
So, just a little background on the project. Last year I decided I wanted to watch and review a horror movie every single day. On my birthday I decided this, which is today, incidentally, so I have now done 366 reviews in a row every day. That's one day over a year. But this is just, for realsies, this is gonna be the last actual daily episode that you're gonna get. So, it's my birthday. I decided I still wanted to do one more, and the one that I wanted to do is a Bloody Cuts movie, because I fucking loved those. The ones that I saw, they were good. The first one that we watched was Don't Move, which was really good, and I made this mistake while I was doing the review of thinking that they used a Ouija board in it. They did not. They made their own board. It was cool. And the second one that we watched is, actually, I thought about this, Sam. And the longer I thought about it, I love The Jester, but The Birch is definitely a better film. When I was talking about my very favoritist ones, it was like the three that I mentioned were The Birch, The Jester's Part 1 and 2. I can't separate them, and chapters 1 and 2, and Vicious. I still think Vicious is the only short film that really gave me any like real sense of tension. And I still think that one's probably the quote-unquote scariest, but The Birch made me the most interested, and I still have been, like, thinking about that. Every time, like, I'm thinking about a short film or something like that, I'm like, man, that thing was great. So I'm revising my list and saying, my list of, like, my top 3. It still has all the same ones, but I think I'm gonna go, just in level of enjoyment, I'm gonna go The Birch, number 1, The Jester chapter 1 and 2 as 2, and Vicious as 3. Even though 3, like I said, is probably the only one that's actually given me any level of fright. So the one that I did today, it's another Bloody Cuts film, which is how we got sidetracked on all this. It's my birthday. I can talk about whatever shit I want on my podcast, Sam. I know you weren't judging me over there, or if you were,
I was
you were
judging
doing it
you.
quietly.
No, I was judging you.
Okay.
Very hard about.
It's my birthday. I did it, Sam. I did a review every day.
You did it yesterday.
I know I did it yesterday, but I don't know. So Sam's over here dying again. I don't know what's happening to him.
Hopefully dying.
So, what the fuck was I talking about before you decided to die again?
I don't know. Some birthday. Somebody's birthday.
Oh yeah, I fucking did it.
Whose birthday?
I did it. I did a review every day for a year.
Nobody I know or care about's birthday, that's for sure.
You're such a jerk. And you're not even facing the mic. Would you please?
It's kind of facing me.
It's my birthday. Act like it.
Why did I ruin everything?
Why do you ruin everything? But yeah.
It's your birthday. You did a bunch of podcasts.
Yeah. And then you try to steal my thunder by pretending to die.
And I tried to sabotage for a whole
year. You did try to sabotage me.
Not your text ones as much.
Not as much, because you didn't have to be as directly involved.
I didn't have to do anything. I missed them so much. You have no idea.
So yeah, it was my birthday, and I still wanted to do one today. And the one that I wanted to do was a Bloody Cuts one, because I liked all of them. All of them. The 2 of them that I had watched. So we watched The Cabinet in the Woods from 2016. Not to be confused with The Cabinet in the Woods from 2017, or Cabin in the Woods, which I think was from 2011?
Yeah. 2012.
2012, okay.
That feels like forever ago.
I know.
Wow.
But yeah, there's another one from 2017 that's something else. I actually pulled up that IMDb page first, and I'm like, this doesn't look like the same picture as I saw before.
We have not seen it.
Yeah, we have not seen the other one from 2017. This is by Bloody Cuts, if I didn't mention that 18 times. And it comes from Ben Franklin and Anthony Melton. So in the previous 2 reviews, I only mentioned Anthony Melton's name.
Mm-hmm.
One of them I mentioned Ben Franklin in the review and had to cut it out because Sam added spoilers in that same section that I had to cut out.
That sounds like me.
So, actually, I've only had to cut out your spoilers a few times, Sam. You're pretty good about it usually. But yeah, so I had to cut out me saying, oh, and the other person involved in this is Ben Franklin. I can't remember how I did it. It was not as weird as that was. But yeah, Ben Franklin has done all of these with Anthony Melton for a while. They both do great, fantastic work, and both deserve to be appreciated. So, Sam, how did you like The Cabinet in the Woods from 2016?
To meet different people.
Yeah, Sam keeps saying things that I'm cutting out because he's being a dickhole.
I'm trying to podcast. I'm trying to podcast. I liked it.
Yeah. Good.
Oh, cool. Ugh.
Sam's now trying to take over my birthday. I don't know how many times I've had to stop and coach him in this one. This is the only time that I've had to have a discussion with his performance on this podcast.
I feel like I'm doing really good. And you're crazy. So.
If I was crazy, I'd be doing this every single episode.
Birthdays are crazy.
Oh my god.
And you're being crazy.
We gotta talk about this movie. Okay?
I liked it.
Yeah. I thought it was really good. He was really more animated the first time that I asked him that, but then he said a bunch of shit that I had to cut out. Because I mentioned cutting shit out, and so he's, like, immediately gonna put stuff that I have to cut out intentionally.
I'm not gonna do that. Otherwise, I could do it right now. Which I'm not doing. Do you know why?
Why?
Because I'm the bigger person. And you're small. So small.
Oh my God.
And petty.
Oh, God. Alright. So, The Cabinet in the Woods is about some guys... and they found a cabinet in the woods. That's really as much as you need to say about it. There's a cabinet.
Yeah, saying too much more.
It's in the
gives
woods.
it away.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, what did you think about the acting in this one?
The acting was good, actually.
Yeah, I liked it.
And there was dialogue.
Yeah.
More ish so than the other ones I had seen.
Yeah, more. You're talking about more dialogue than some of the short films you've seen recently.
More of the short films I'd seen recently, and more of the other, bloody cuts.
I think there might be a little bit more in the Don't Move one.
Maybe.
The Birch didn't have quite as much, but it was around. It was definitely less than this, but not that
regardless, the lines were delivered well. You felt like they were talking to each other.
Uh-huh.
I felt like it was something that was happening, opposed to people reading lines, which is what you want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it did. It was believable. I think the acting in this was possibly slightly better than in Don't Move, but that was also like a different emotional level that they were on.
Yeah, they had to whisper everything.
Yeah.
And that, which could be definitely hard to whisper and
seem panicked and frightened.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah.
It's like, it's hard to even judge the two.
Yeah. And that was an earlier movie that they did. The Birch was after this. I think The Birch was 2017. Or was it 18? No, I think it was 17. And this was 2016. Don't Move was definitely earlier. I want to say it was like 14 or something. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure. But yeah, so they probably have more resources and more monies and all that good stuff for this one than they did. I think The Birch probably had the biggest production value of any of them. This one didn't require much production value. Most of it is, they probably didn't need a permit to film in a location in the woods.
Yeah.
The only place where they film that's outside of it is a vehicle, which again you don't need a permit if you have the vehicle. So, yeah, I liked the acting in this one. What did you think about the location?
It was good. It was the woods. It looked good though. It was shot well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think the cinematography. There's some effects on the movie, film effects. I guess.
Right, that was awesome.
And I think that really helped the feel of it a lot.
Yeah.
Because this is not a horror movie necessarily.
It's not a horror movie.
It's it's like tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah. Which you might expect from a name that, that's a parody of The Cabin in the Woods, which itself was not like a super heavy, like serious,
it's like not
horror
a serious
movie.
horror movie either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's good, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But the effects really, really helped me with this one.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it made the setting look good. Like, I don't know, maybe it would have been shot well otherwise. There's no way to know because they didn't do it that way. But with the effect on it and stuff like that, it made it look real, like, grainy and interesting.
Yeah. I really liked the film effect. It was clearly done in post, which is, of course it was done in post. But they try to make it look like sort of VHS effects. You see tracking and stuff like that. The opening and the closing has this logo for this Bloody Cuts logo in it. And the sequence of how it shows up is fucking fantastic. I really, really liked that. I listened to a lot of like 80s throwback stuff, and I've been watching a lot of stuff that is 80s throwback stuff. I just watched a video not too long ago about vaporwave, which I don't really care too much for vaporwave music, but I love the 80s imagery stuff, and so like this has all been in my head recently a lot more than it generally is. And so I saw that logo and the accompanying sound and stuff, and I thought it was like one of my favorite things in one of these movies. It was a lot of work was clearly put into it. Otherwise, somebody is just a fucking genius and nailed it on the first try. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but it was really good. How did you like that?
Yeah, I like that a lot. It reminded me of like Turbo Kid.
Yeah.
In style, at least.
Yeah. Which is the greatest.
Yeah, which is super good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I really appreciated that. It set a good mood too, to not make it seem too serious, so it didn't seem out of place.
Right.
The comedy-ish bits in this.
Mm-hmm.
So that made sense, and it was interesting in that way.
Yeah. The parody vibe is already there, even though this is not, I would actually mention, this is not really in any way a parody of Cabin in the Woods. Although, there is a couple of references to it. The poster for Cabinet in the Woods is awesome, and it's set to look like it's done as an homage. I'll say homage, not parody. In homage to the Cabin in the Woods poster, and the title card sequence in Cabinet in the Woods is similar to it's an homage to the title card sequence for Cabin in the Woods, which itself is a reference to the title card sequence from Funny Games. So it's like an homage of an homage, basically.
At least we think so.
Yeah, I think it's pretty clear it is. I think it's both ways. I think it's great. I think it's great. I think it's better that it's an homage of an homage to me. Like, I think that works. This sets the tone of that very well. Like, it's just layers and layers and layers of stuff. Even though the film itself is not does not really do very much that one can exactly call like a parody of or even homage to Cabin in the Woods. I'm gonna do that the whole episode.
Yeah, it's not even really parody.
No. I don't think it's parody at all in any way. I think it's all homage and reference, and I think it seems like the writers, which again were Ben Franklin and Anthony Melton, and there's another person too, who wrote this with them, which I do not have pulled up. But I think probably they heard the name and somebody must have said it at some point and said it sounded like Cabin in the Woods when they said it.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe.
I feel like I have said that before when I've been saying Cabin in the Woods, or somebody was like, "Did you say Cabinet in the Woods?" And I'm like, "No, Cabin in the Woods." I just feel like it's something that is really easy to like get in your head just based on
just by you saying it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Or thinking somebody's saying it, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not really related other than those couple of homages. There's a few other things that I feel like is a little bit spoilery, borders on spoilery stuff, that you could call sort of referential, or homage-y, I guess. But I don't think there's really any part of it that you could really call
like true
paralleling
parody.
the story.
I think not a cabinet. I think there's other parody in this.
Yes.
From other things.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I don't want to mention it.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of a spoiler in a way.
Yeah.
But it's pretty funny because it's so annoying of a thing.
You don't like the thing?
Not the thing. In this. The parody I'm specifically talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I could tell you.
Yeah, that particular... Okay, Sam just told me off. I turned the recorder off while he told me something. I think everything... I think there's a ton of those particular movies that have that premise. And I don't think... you're never gonna get away from
no, because there's another movie that does that same thing, and it's also annoying in that movie.
Yeah.
So it's very funny that it happens in this movie.
Yeah. But it's kind of supposed to be. It's just...
No, yeah. It's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm, yeah. Sorry, everything that we're saying is completely uninteresting to anybody who's listening, because we're talking around everything without talking about anything specifically. Just watch this. It's 5 minutes. It's on YouTube for free from the Bloody Cuts page. Watch it from the Bloody Cuts page. If you see it somewhere else, don't do it. Watch it on the Bloody Cuts page. But yeah, it's really good. I like the way it ends. I like the sort of lead up to it. The conversation kind of feels pretty natural, for really annoyed British people to be talking. There's one line in this that I found completely baffling, which I think is probably the point, or that it's a reference to something else that I'm not understanding. Either way, it works as just being a weird, baffling thing for somebody to say under those circumstances, wouldn't you say? You know which line I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, we don't understand it, right?
Yeah, we don't understand it.
Yeah, we don't get it. But
yeah.
Then again, we're dumb.
Yeah. Again, it could be a reference to something else entirely, or it could just be
And there's also little references to other...
Yeah.
Bloody Cuts.
There are little references, and we won't talk about exactly how that's done, but there are references
some of those
to a
we didn't get
those.
because we haven't watched all of them.
Yeah, because we haven't watched all of them. I really want to watch more of them, but every time I want to... I've mentioned this on another episode. Every time I want to watch a short film, I want to review it. So I don't want to watch any short films, because then I have to do a bunch of reviews and whatever. But now that I'm not doing the daily reviews, I might just do, all of the Bloody Cut stuff at some point, not immediately, but I might just do all of the Bloody Cut stuff, try to watch it in chronological order, in so much as what they have released for free on YouTube through their channel, and just give a whole overview of it. I really have enjoyed pretty much everything that I've gone through there. I've mentioned before that Ouija shit I think is stupid. And this isn't, like I said, that was in Don't Move, that was not a Ouija board. It was a talking board of a different kind. They made the board. So it's less of a pet peeve, but being able to summon a demon basically with a Ouija board is always so ridiculous to me. But that is the best case scenario. Don't Move, and I know I mentioned this in that review if you listen to that, but Don't Move is the best case scenario of basically anything I've ever seen that has a Ouija board or any kind of talking board in it.
Actually looking back on Don't Move, I remember it really fondly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me
too. And I think at the time I liked it, but maybe not as much as I remember it now and liking it, just because there's a lot of stuff in that stays in my memory. Uh-huh. And that when you say it and I think about it, there's images and points that stay, and there's not doing so many, there's not a ton of stuff that does that. I'll forget we watched something so easily. So many of these I've just forgot they've existed and forgot everything about the movie or a short film. Right, yeah. So that's kind of interesting.
The cup, all the time, I think about that cup in the first shot of that.
That's good.
Every single time, that is still my favorite single image, I think, from any of the short films that I've watched. In most of the movies I've watched, that one image just completely sticks in my head. The whole opening sequence is really good, actually. It gives you exactly what you need to know about what's going on.
I'm good. Sorry.
Sam's trying to die again. It gives you everything that you need to know in the opening sequence, the first 30 seconds, without any dialogue, without any, text, without anything. There's no... It's just like a really great opening sequence, and that's probably my favorite part in all of that. The effects are really good in Don't Move too, though, the physical effects, but yeah, it's a perfect opening for that kind of a movie. It's the best opening sequence I can think of that does that in any of the short films that I've watched. And this one was really good too. I like a lot of the references. It goes a place that I definitely didn't expect it to go. You are totally interested and intrigued by what's going on, but it's not as though there aren't, that it leaves this like big open-ended thing that annoys the crap out of you. Like, it just kind of is what it is. This one, Cabinet in the Woods, kind of is its own thing, and it wraps up in a weird way that you're kind of like, well, that was fucking weird. That's awesome. Like, that's kind of how I felt about how this one went from beginning to end.
I talk about this a lot,
and
I realized I talked about it yesterday,
and
I'm gonna talk about it today,
but
it has a real like tales.
Oh right, because Meow was like,
it has like a Tales from the Crypt, like it feels like something like an opening segment from like Tales from the Crypt or something, like would have something like that. I guess less Tales of the Crypt actually, and more like, damn, what there's another horror anthology. Maybe it's a movie or something, whereas the tiny segments that lead you to a long segment. And it feels a lot like that, which I actually really like. I'm trying to think what...
And this is not what you're thinking of, but for some reason what you're describing, and not necessarily this, but what you're describing kind of reminds me of, and this is the stupidest, nerdiest reference, Interview with a Vampire. You remember when they go to Le Théâtre des Vampires? They have those opening sequences where they have that Grim Reaper who goes and like,
yeah,
and he's telling the stories, and he has all these really small little vignettes where he's like, oh, the lovers, and they do this, and then death comes and slashes, and then they go into another one.
Right.
This I can kind of see where that sounds like what you were describing, but where this is one of those beginning sequences where it's like, this stuff happens, and then that's the end of it.
No, you're completely wrong.
I know.
You're totally missing.
I know. I am.
Everything
It's
I'm
my
saying.
birthday.
I wish I had a better analogy, but it essentially works the same way that the Crypt Keeper works for Tales from the Crypt, except there's not like a main feature after. I guess kind of like how Elvira works and how any of those like horror hosts work, except for it's more of a narrative story to something else.
Yeah.
That's all I was saying.
That's essentially what I was saying, but...
No.
Yeah.
No.
I don't know why you're being so
Maybe
mean to
a
me
little
today.
bit. I'm just kidding.
Sure.
Somebody should have got you a sense of humor for your birthday. Maybe next year.
Will you stop dying? I have to cut all this shit out, you realize.
I'm done? Oh.
You're trying to ruin it? You're trying to die on my podcast?
Yeah, I'm trying to ruin the podcast.
This is going to take me so long to edit, Sam.
Well, what else do we need to say about it?
The whole point of having you on the podcast is that I have to do less editing. If you sit here and die and make me have to cut out a bunch of shit, it does not help that. Sam's trying
I'm glad this is the last one, because this is just...
Sam's trying so hard to be nice to me on my birthday.
This is brutal right here.
He's trying to be nice to me on my birthday, but he's really just dying and making everything difficult. Thank you, Samuel, for being on my podcast today, where we really poorly talked about this movie.
There's not a ton to talk about. It's
you can't talk about most of the stuff.
Yeah, it's like just a little narrative that's, I think, like good and interesting and shot well, acted well. It's not like horror.
No, it's not. There's definitely horror in it,
but it's not like horror comedy
It's not quite horror comedy.
We've been running into a lot of that.
Yeah.
I like it a lot, actually.
Yeah, uh-huh. Yeah, this and Meow both had the same kind of vibe where, like, it's not exactly horror comedy, but it's definitely not trying for a serious tone.
Yeah.
And there are definitely parts of it that are funny.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly funny, intentionally funny, not necessarily still to the point that you would call it horror comedy.
Right.
So, which actually is a place I like much better than straight horror comedy.
Because that can get really stupid.
It can get really stupid really fast, and it sometimes if it's too self-aware, it just becomes eye-rolling and stuff like this. Both of these were self-aware, but they were self-aware of the fact that, like,
you don't want to go too far.
Yeah, they knew where the line was and not to jump over that line. Maybe I don't know if the filmmakers would consider this horror comedy. I would definitely say it has comedy in it. If I were to list all of the genres a part of it, I would probably maybe put comedy in there, but it would be like the fifth one that I would put in there.
Like ingredients.
Yeah, exactly. Ingredients.
Like an ingredients list of it.
Yeah. Comedy, 80s nostalgia, woods.
You're going the wrong way, though.
Yeah.
It's more woods and 80s nostalgia than it is comedy.
It is. Yeah, I know. I'm just listing off because
ingredients go, the most that's in it is the first one.
Yeah. Uh-huh. So usually high fructose corn syrup, then water.
Premium brewed green tea is the first one.
Bullshit, you can't tell me.
It is the first one, and then...
using filtered water. Then high fructose corn syrup.
That's the next one.
That was a joke anyway. Usually it is water and then high fructose corn syrup. We're looking at Sam's Arizona iced tea.
We're sponsored now.
We're sponsored now by Arizona iced tea.
Uh-huh.
It's a great summer treat, even though it's not summer. Get it.
If someone can send me a hoodie.
In Arizona. Oh man, those hoodies are so great.
Yeah, how sick.
But yeah. There definitely comedy is in the mix. I think I don't like what is generally considered a horror comedy a lot of the time. I think I hold the comedy to a higher standard if I would put it in the horror comedy part. This is funny. It has lots of funny parts in it. And I still wouldn't call it a horror comedy, even though, like, it sort of... it cruxes around comedy.
Yeah, we get it. It's a blurry line.
It is a blurry line.
It's a slippery slope,
but
too.
It is. Ooh. But this is definitely on the right side of it. Honestly, there's not a part of this. It was shot well. The acting was good. It was funny. It was weird. But like Meow, like Yesterday's, it was weird in a way that was fun and that you liked, without being, like, overbearing or ridiculous most of it.
Or make any sense.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it made enough sense, other than that one line, which we don't get.
Yeah,
we don't get.
We don't get it.
We may have to have seen more bloody cuts things, which is definitely something I'm going to resolve in the future. Yeah, I don't know. Really good. Apologies for how bad this review is. I do have to eventually get to sleep, and I do have work in the morning, so I gotta go. We gotta bounce.
And I helped.
And Sam helped. And Sam restrained himself from beating me to death with a shoe while doing this podcast, so he helped. So that's sort of our review of Cabinet in the Woods from 2016. Just watch it. Don't take our weird word for it. It's my birthday, and I'm excited. I had a good day today. I did have to work all day on my birthday, but my job is cool now, and my coworkers are awesome and do cool things, so... and get me tiramisu cake, which is not as good as tiramisu, but is better than other cake.
So we're gonna have to cut that out.
Why?
It's my you impression. Happy birthday.
Sam's making more work for me. Do you have anything else that you wanna throw on there that I can cut out?
No.
No, you don't have any conspiracy theories or any things else that you want to shout out? No.
I think all the stuff I said is perfectly usable, and help me. She's holding me hostage.
Yeah, I'm chaining him up in my basement instead of his own basement.
Should I say I am saying these things
of my own
free will.
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
All right, I'm done.
All right. So that's our episode. Thanks for listening. I know it was a weird one. I just wanted to watch something that I wanted to watch, and what I wanted to watch was Bloody Cuts. I've been putting it off because I wanted to do it on a day. I honestly put it off because I wanted to do it on a day where I could really sink my teeth in, and I didn't even really care which Bloody Cuts one that I watched, but I wanted to like be able to sink my teeth in and really get into every aspect of it, and that is definitely not what I did today.
Nice.
Yeah, really not accomplished, but I did get to watch it, and I do enjoy that. How would you have a ranking of what order you like these in?
No.
I don't either. Other than that, I know I like the Birch better than the other ones, but that's just like a personal thing.
I'm not Watch Mojo and have to put everything on a.
Oh my god! But they never even do the list in the right order anyway.
They're never right. I agree, but you're rarely right either. So you both have that in common.
Cabinet in the Woods and Don't Move, I think, appeal to different parts of my brain. Like different moods, I guess.
They're kind of hard comparing that way. Actually.
They are, yeah. But I would say that the Birch is front runner, and I think again, out of all of the short films that I've watched, and I've probably watched like 90 short films at this point, not watched, reviewed specifically. I've seen more than that. I think this is clearly my actual the Birch is clearly my actual favorite. I like The Jester a lot. I will always like The Jester a lot. And Vicious is the only one that probably actually creeped me out a little bit. So that definitely gets a mention. But, yeah. I don't know. Is there anything else that you wanted to say? Last daily episode. Last daily episode.
I'm glad I'm not doing this anymore. Is that what you wanted me to say?
Yeah.
So okay. Positive.
But where you don't have to do daily episodes anymore. You pretty much do have to do every episode.
Yeah, and I can watch some full movies.
That's true.
I'm just watching those.
We can watch some full movies fully. I don't know. I've liked the short films. We have had Sam coughed again. I don't know what's happening. What was I talking about before?
Watching full movies, and you've liked watching.
Yeah, I've been liking watching the short films. We have had a run of them that like haven't really been super great, or they've had like the same problems as each other, like a number of days in a row, which is sort of unfortunate. But I think like the good short films that we've watched, including the ones that we've had from Bloody Cuts, including those other ones that I mentioned, and including a few others as well.
The ones on Crypt TV are pretty good.
Yeah, all of them that I've seen on Crypt TV have been good. There have been a number of them that haven't been from there as well, but yeah, actually there was one Crypt TV one that I really didn't like.
I'm sure there's a bunch.
Yeah, they gotta have a dud in there too.
TV ones.
Yeah, but yeah, I have been really liking the short films, and some of those short films I like a heck of a lot better than the feature lengths that I've watched. So.
Yeah, because they're long and bad.
Yeah. I think some of these short films would probably rank on my like pretty high on my list overall of everything that I reviewed this year too. The Birch would probably be top 15. I think The Jester would probably be top 20 of like all of the things that I've watched. So I think that's pretty good. Yeah, so that's our episode. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this podcast, sorry that it was really chatty and weird. It won't always be like that. Sorry Sam kept dying. Don't really know what that was about.
I'm not sorry about it.
Yeah, I know, because you don't have to edit it.
Nope.
If you you probably won't be another episode quite like this.
Die shaming me over here.
I'll be able to sleep.
You are die shaming me.
True.
Think about that.
True. Yeah. But I have to go to bed and go to work tomorrow. You don't have to go to work tomorrow, so.
Who are you, Anderson Cooper?
Yes. Yes, I am Anderson Cooper.
Oof.
I'm a Vanderbilt. I have prematurely gray hair. How did you know? You can't even see me,
Remember
Sam.
when he die shamed Robin Williams?
I never did that.
I thought you were Anderson Cooper.
That was
you
real
just said
Anderson
you were.
Cooper. Nobody understands what we're talking about.
Good podcast. Let's Google it. Good podcast, everybody. You guys did great. You didn't do great.
He's pointing at me when he says that.
I did pretty good. I think this is my best one.
Oh, God.
And I give Cabinet
in
the Woods. Got it. Nailed it. I give it 10 out of 10. Mecca-lecca highs, mecca-lecca hiney hoes.
I still have no idea what you're talking about.
High, mecca-lecca hiney ho.
I give it as many coughs as Sam had on and off air.
Oh, that's a lot. You loved it then.
Yeah, I did. I definitely did. That had to have been somewhere up in the 50s. So it gets 50-ish of Sam's coughs. I'll cut out as many of those as I can. I apologize for any that I can't get, but I really cannot remove a lot of those. So, because he decided...
I had to cut... my throat's messed up or something.
Uh-huh.
I'm allergic to you.
Anyway.
Bad attitude.
Oh my God. So, if you enjoyed this, please share it with somebody. That's really the best way that you can help out the show. We're not going to be doing daily episodes anymore. This will be legitimately the last daily episode. I am not doing a review tomorrow. I will let you know whenever I decide, what the schedule is. I'll let you know what it is. It won't be too long before I do another episode, though. And it will be a full-length movie, which Sam is pretty excited about.
I am.
And not have to watch one the next day. So yeah, if you would like to share it with someone and they don't have the same platform as you, or if, you don't like the platform that you found us, we are available on YouTube, Player FM, that sounded really weird how I said that, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, Podcast Addict, and pretty much any podcatcher out there. And you can reach us on social media on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And you can email me at reclusehorror@gmail.com. As soon as I figure out exactly what schedule that I'm going to be doing releases on in the future, like I said, it'll probably be every 2 weeks. Not sure exactly what I'm going to do as far as which days. I'll let you know probably in the next, few days, few weeks, something like that, what the release schedule will be. In the meantime, you have a great night. Sam.
Yeah.
Say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.